7 years ago. They probably said, "Why? You don't use it."
Okay.
No, it's not.
It never- No. But Bill went up and John, very high, the stage went up. That's all.
Okay.
John, the question is, St. Lawrence or Clarkson?
Mostly close.
Oh, I don't know. In here, it's, I don't know. You got some St. Lawrence people. So I did get such a good question.
Should have did both.
Billy says it's not much.
Ralph and me now.
Because I put out all the ones I could find.
But there's some way left. Ralph and me now moved the couch and put all the chairs. What?
I'll look at that phone.
Go ahead. You see my cell phone?
Yeah, thanks.
I wouldn't say that.
I'd like to have a motion to open the meeting for board members. Set, Joe?
Yep.
Jim makes the motion, Tim seconds it, all those in favor? Please rise to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the April 27th meeting. We're okay with it? With a motion? One second. We have a motion in a second. Kelly makes the motion. Jim seconds it. All those in favor? Minutes approved. Moving on to the supervisor's report. We have financials, okay, from the month of April for all our accounts. Accounts for sewer, general, highway, water, and trust and agency, as well as lighting districts. If you don't have any questions, I guess we can move on. The next thing, all right, is concession payments. This is the lowest I've ever seen this list, okay? And one, okay, is a matter of litigation, okay? And then there's one here that's still behind. Okay, that list is very small. Any questions there? When we talk about concessions, it's the lease payments that people make, okay, for the North River Road and South River Road, okay, and we're very close to 100%, which is a good thing. All right, bus garage contract, okay.
On behalf of the district, we will not be renewing the bus contract.
Okay, well, thank you, all right. That's unfortunate, but I guess you have a right to do that. Next item is APA and the South River Road, all right?
So you said something to the town in writing, and you're not, okay. Thank
Yes.
you.
The certain parties on the South River Road have been cited by the APA for wetland violations, meaning filling in wetlands, all right? And so the letters have been sent out to the individuals who were involved in this situation. I'm sure there's questions. I'll take questions on that from anyone who wants to talk about that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I have, my area, lot was, the water washed away the bank and washed it into the wetland, and now they want me to clean that up, you know? So I guess, like I asked before, I asked you and I asked Roger, you know, for help in doing that, and, you know, it kind of felt on deaf ears, you know?
All right.
I thought there was going to be FEMA money approved for that.
FEMA said they weren't doing that for private people, okay?
Well, they said private land, but that's not private land.
So FEMA's not doing it for us. They're basically giving us money for repairs of highways, culverts, and ditches, okay? And we had some damage in the campsite, but everything else that the town gets from FEMA is pretty good for road repairs. Not one private individual got any money.
I'm just not following that, I guess.
Uh,
You know, where you're saying it's private land. You know, when you lease it from the town, you know, how can that be private land?
They weren't gonna deal with private homeowners, okay, and their issues. They were dealing with roads.
Because they don't own the land. The town owns the land, so, I mean,
So Ernie, what
They
kind
weren't gonna give, they weren't gonna, all right, if we put a claim in, they weren't gonna give us any money either, okay? Whether it was you or the town, they were not gonna give it for a situation like that. Dealing with a home and what happened to your property with the washout. There's money for the roads and the repair of the roads and the culverts.
what are the things missing that you and the APA can't come up with something so those lands are deeded? That there's, everybody's gotta know where you're at on that, because if you're not, then you're not really discussing what problems are up there.
So we issue these
Yeah.
for the box. It's a
What
conversation.
what is keeping it from being deeded? the individuals.
Because the town owns it and they're not willing to deed it.
Yeah, well, then they had to be willing to do something.
And that's what the APA says. The APA says the town owns it. You don't own it. So how can it be private?
I think we're dealing with a semantical situation here, all right, which probably necessitates lawyers battling it out.
That's what the APA wants. I talked to her this morning. The APA wants it to go to court so that they get the. Who knows that it's gonna happen? Well, everything on the river road is gonna be cut out.
Can you insure against damage like that?
Well,
I own my land.
yeah, but see, there's only 4 or 5 places that are owned on there.
Who could insure that land, the town?
I would, first of all, the town only owns the land itself. The people who lease the property, they, in a sense, own their home, okay, or whatever they put on it. That's theirs, okay? So
Are there insurance?
personally for me, okay, if I, even though I'm leasing it from the town, to protect my property, I would have homeowners or whatever I could
And people
protect
do.
that.
People
And I'm
do.
sure people do, okay, to protect their structures.
If you can't insure it, that's up to, that'd be a way of proving that you can't, if you can't insure the land, then it's definitely not your land.
Yeah.
So it'd be fall on whoever could insure it.
It's kind of like the rent, when you rent,
You go
the homeowner,
You got renters.
yeah, I think, but you can't, you can get renter's insurance on your thing with the homeowner,
Possession.
yeah.
But the land itself would fall on the owner.
So you rent a piece though?
What?
You rent a piece of land?
No, I don't.
Well, most people, isn't there a lot, and it's not, there's no lot in front of it?
No, there's certain areas owned, like, what's her name, Angie Lavoy? She owns both sides, her camp's on this side. Some people have a deed right to the water. Yeah, like, no, you gotta, but they give it up, yeah. But certain areas do have a.
Yes, sir.
So Ernie, when, in the town's wisdom, somebody came by and went 20 feet off the road and splintered up all the trees and threw all the debris into the existing pond and is encroaching upon the drainage from under the road. When's the town gonna clean that up? It's not my responsibility, I didn't do it.
I would say that's something we'd have to cross that bridge when it
Well, it's
happens.
right here, I mean, you know, I spent the money to have the stuff picked up off the land and taken away. I spent the money to have the splintered up stumps cut down so they're level and flat, but I did not go into the pond and start removing stuff because that would have cost me a whole bunch more. You know, and if somebody could do that, it seems to me like somebody in the town would have supervision over who did it and that they would understand that there's a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done here and send the guys back and do it, not just say, okay, take the mower out for a ride and trim all you can get. And at the same level, they left a perfectly dead tree, but cleaned out a whole bunch of ones that were living that had no obstruction to the road or wires.
And the sticks they did with the stumps that they left behind, to me, are just. I don't understand the process.
Well, I would think these things need to be reported and then we'll decide whether we're gonna clean it up.
Is it not reporting it?
What?
Is this not reporting it, bringing it to the board?
I'm not sure of the situation you're talking about. I'm not familiar with it.
If something has to be reported, coming to this meeting and stating the problem, is that not reporting it to authorities?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. Okay. But prior to tonight, I had no knowledge of it.
No, that's not true either, because I talked to you on the phone the other day, and you said the same thing then, you didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And you didn't spend any time investigating it either.
It's on all the sides.
Well, and a lot to do with it, that was highway department that did that. And your highway superintendent should be here to answer the question.
Absolutely. And why isn't he? Get rid of him, get somebody else.
Well, you gotta put, I've looked into it, why they, in all other towns, the highway department is required to go. But you gotta, it's gotta be put into the job position as highway superintendent, that you are required to come to one monthly meeting. It's not in there right now. It's never been put in there before. It needs to be put in,
Yeah, everybody
What-
else just came because it's
everybody,
morally
yeah,
correct. to come.
everybody else comes because it is, but from what I talked down to there, we'd have to put it into the description of the highway superintendent. The board would, that he's required
He
to come.
used to attend, why does he not attend anymore?
I don't know.
Bill, I mean, that's an elected position, so does that have to go into his job description?
That's what they said, that the highway
At the
super,
next election?
yeah, it has to be put in the
When
job
a member comes
description.
in, is when it gets in.
When it goes up for bid then?
Yeah, that's what they said. But that, like up there where you're talking about,
Well, in the meantime, though, what are we gonna do? I mean, that's the critical point, really.
right where, that, where the old bathtub was, the
Have you
pond
talked
over
to
there,
him?
by where Sharms used to be. The big pond right there, that's where.
Dave?
That guy that's not.
You can't find him even when his truck's in front of the garage. Or I can't anyway.
I'm sorry, what is your name?
Peter out.
Peter, what?
You're on the side.
Oh, okay, thank you. Just making sure I get everything in.
That's fine.
Another issue you're gonna run into up on that, road too, once you get the AP, and then legally, the lease lots are 50 feet from the center of that road.
That's right.
And a lot of them are on, like even go up this road. After that 50 feet, that's river corridor, that's state line. Man, after
Well,
50
it's a
feet,
little less because of the right of way.
what's that?
It's a little less because of the right of way.
The railroad right away was 100 feet.
Yeah, 100 feet.
It is, it's included, that's what I'm saying, so.
Yeah. Yeah, but
It used to be a one-lane road too, when that 50 feet, you know. only
Yeah,
one
then
lane.
you go up at the end of the road when, Seaway got theirs and they had it surveyed. Them camps up there, some of them are on Seaway property.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he talked one time, of maybe trying to get to the
He
town, but I
did,
don't know what
he-
kind of snag he got into.
No, it was never followed up.
No, it wasn't, but
He
did
told the
mention it.
town if they went and got a lawyer, and they would deed that back over to him, because I was on the board then, and it was never followed up.
Mhm.
But
Good gesture.
it was all the way up through there, that they had a legal fight with another camp up there, he said, because he only had 10 feet across from his camp, so he went back farther. He figured he would have the more going back the other way. Well, the property owner in the back, they took him to court, come to find out, no, it's 50 feet from the center of the road this way, and if you get 50 feet on the other side, good for you. If you don't, too bad. And that's how in court, he had to take all that stuff off that guy's property.
That in itself is very frustrating. And if the highway superintendent is not here. Very frustrating.
December's when it's up.
Yeah, election.
Yes,
And they're only 1-year terms now for super.
Oh, is that right?
That's, no, 1 year.
One
well,
year.
this was 1 year.
Just
Now
this
it's gonna
time.
return to
It's
3 years.
Oh, have they changed it?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just did a skip. is what
Yeah,
they
we
did.
really need to make sure that they, put that in this,
They wanted to line them up with both of them.
comes in a year.
Anything else?
So all the drainage, from the Shanley Road is all been taken care of. With any luck, we won't have the water come down again.
I believe it's been taken care
I
of.
mean, that was pretty strong when it lifts on tractors.
And you know what? I think all the repairs have been done. The DEC, who gave us a permit to make corrections there, all right, is satisfied. However, if it decides to rain, all right, like it did before, which we had 4 or 5 inches in a matter of hours, okay? That road's so steep, that stream is so steep, it could flood out
But you need
again.
to have some place for that water to go. I mean, it's going to the river. And if the river is high, you know, you need our dam operators who we're supposedly getting cheap power from them now. You need to have them lower the water and open your gates because it's getting too high right now. So if you have a hurricane down south and the tail of it comes this way with another 5 inches of rain, then you're gonna have the same problem because there's no place for it to go. There's all kinds of beavers in the Shanley Creek area. And I don't believe the culverts and, you know, that area has even been addressed.
I don't know. That's Roger.
Yeah, that's Roger, okay?
I mean, it's gonna be frustrating for everybody. The answer is it's Roger. Well, how do we make Roger answer?
Well, he's only gonna holler at you, so.
Well, I'm not worried about him hollering at me. I can holler back. I don't care.
The board can amend.
There are conditions.
You could amend those things.
I'm not sure how that would work. I don't know. I think if you go
You can make amendments to job descriptions because you're the boss.
we're not the boss of anyone. That's totally different. He doesn't answer to us at all. The only thing we do is control his money. That is it. That's where it ends. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
The answer is
We can
people,
control
he,
his budget
he answers to you people.
in terms of election.
Yeah,
and
that's
re-election.
it's not at all. Really.
Apparently it doesn't.
You're supposed to. Right.
He tells you one thing he doesn't know.
Since we're illustrating our frustrations here, there's little piles here of broken stone and asphalt, okay? It's up by the park, okay? I put a personal request in. Could that be picked up by the highway department?
I
Okay?
asked that at a board meeting
Yes,
last time.
and it hasn't happened, okay? So,
How
and
does he
it
get
would just,
fired?
it'd be nice,
Yeah, right.
You can't get.
He doesn't get reelected. That's
yeah,
why
we
he's-
don't have, there's not a process to file a report. We're not aware of it. It's, because it's a short term, okay, when you have problems with someone like that, then it's election time.
If he isn't fulfilling the obligations, why is he getting paid?
Yeah, that's the big
They can
thing.
prove that he's fulfilling it that way.
I mean,
So
money
you-
does. It's
If
his
you
job
control the
to
money,
do
then
that
why is
job.
he getting paid if he's not doing the job?
There, like you said, you gotta amend the job description, but what is the current job description? Does he have to be available certain hours and?
No, he doesn't even have to be here.
No.
He just has to give direction to his men.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah, he
In the
doesn't,
past,
he doesn't have to
Cutting
be
him
over there
for
all day
a
long.
No set hours, no, with the highway description.
Elected positions, no guidelines.
He has to do, he has to do the guidelines. There's nothing he has to do, but hours.
It's the same way in Dickinson and all that, but
But again, if he isn't fulfilling the obligations of his duties, why is he getting paid? I don't care what his hours are. I would really like a response to that. Why is he getting paid if he's not fulfilling the duties? If he's directed by the board to do A, B, C, and he's not doing it, then why is he getting a paycheck?
because he's elected, we have nothing to do with him.
So who supervises him then? No one?
It's just like earning, who supervises earnings. That's unfortunate, but that's, the only other thing that I brought it up when Chad was here, a town can vote to, hire the supervisor. And, they would work for the board then.
What's the process for terminating him then?
Yeah, I don't know, what's the, I can tell you.
Attorney question.
Or the copy of the
State-
description of the highway
state
superintendent's
control,
job.
I was
File it.
I'm going online.
There's handbooks.
Go online and give you the job description. Highway superintendent.
They control the budget.
So each
Right?
time-
You control his paycheck.
One elected official is not disciplined another elected official.
No, they can't, no.
One elected official cannot discipline. Your last board, or any, cannot discipline Roger. That's right in, town law book.
So basically what we're saying is we can just elect him and then he does whatever he wants or chooses not to do and he still gets paid.
The board draws up the job description at the time before the election.
We never had a
You
job
cannot bring it
description.
up after.
I think the job description that's under New York State highway law,
That's under the,
that we have to do.
I'll look more into this matter. Okay?
Yeah,
There are ways.
yeah, there's gotta be, it doesn't make any sense.
All right, next item on the agenda, all right, is the annual financial report for 2024. We're getting very close to getting caught up with that. Danielle Susie tells me that she's pretty much almost halfway done with that. To be reviewed by us and then sent out to the controller's office. So we're making progress there.
how many years did you have to go back, Ernie? How far was it back? What?
When we started here in 2024, right, 2020, somewhere in those early months were completed. So we had to do 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. And when 24 is done, we get 25 done, we'll be all set.
It's on our budget.
We'll be on, hopefully we'll be on schedule by 2026.
I know it for years. Mark would always ask them, why ain't that report done, why? And they always had an excuse. But he was on them every year about getting it done and they prolonged it.
So we're clearly making
Yeah,
progress,
yeah,
and
you've
hopefully
come a long
have
way.
closure, okay? Pretty much all of our projects have been submitted to FEMA. They're being reviewed. The latest one has been the St. Regis Falls Campground. They reimbursed us for damages in the campground to the tune of $5,038.03. And the money, okay, is in our bank account. So all the rest of them are in the process of being reviewed by the officials.
How much that money gets to the highway for doing the work? Do we know?
But it's pretty much, it's all in highway right now.
So the highway needs it.
St. Regis Falls, scenic campsite. It's open, right? People are coming. One of the nice things is when you meet people, all right, that, my daughter and son-in-law were visiting with people in Manhattan for a wedding, and then they went to a reception in New Jersey. And they met a couple, and the young man used to come to this campsite with his grandfather years ago. And he remembers the many glorious summers they had here on our campsite. So it's really refreshing, you know, that when you hear this, that people from all over the world have come here and had positive experiences and wonderful memories, okay? And sure, it's not the greatest, okay? We don't have all the modern facilities, all right? But it's a beautiful place to be. One of the improvements we made in the campsite, even though I'm having great challenges, okay, with Adirondack Tech, okay, you have Wi-Fi in the lower part of the campsite. I'm not happy where they placed the signal device, okay, because it's on a railing on the overlook. I think it should be in a more secure spot, right? But that's a positive thing that's happening.
How much does that cost?
To put all the cameras up and to put Wi-Fi, okay, is like an $11,000 bill. But because it's taken so long and we don't have access to the cameras, we're not paying the bill, all right? I'm not gonna pay the bill, the board has decided not to pay the bill. We're not gonna pay a bill until we have access to the cameras to make sure they're working and we're satisfied with their location.
This makes sense, but-
Does anyone have access to the destruction of the playground? The footage
The
for
wind
that?
did it.
When did
The wind did it. So I asked them,
camera.
It's on camera.
even though I didn't have access, I asked them for access, okay? And then they sent me an email with the video. So it was Sunday morning, I think, April 5th, around 12:38. And you watch it for a couple of minutes and all of a sudden it goes right over.
you see the signs moving first?
Yeah.
It was only anchored with
Yeah.
rerun.
In the sand.
In the sand.
Which was probably the weakness of it.
Was there insurance on it?
No, there was no insurance on it.
What if a child would have been injured? Why didn't we have insurance on that?
I believe there was an assumption that because it was part of the campground, it was insured.
An assumption, but it could have crippled the town if a child had been injured
Absolutely.
on that playground.
When that,
Not just the wind, anything. A kid fell, and broke his neck.
Oh, absolutely.
There should be insurance for that.
Yeah,
If somebody fell off that
absolutely. There should
playground,
be
one was
insurance
charged.
for that.
No, it's not covered.
well, that's one thing, was there,
There's a playground down before that. Forever there was a playground
Another-
by the,
there was one there forever.
we took it out when I worked there, the one that was down below it.
I mean, kids, nobody signed a waiver to go there and utilize at their own risk to use the playground.
So wasn't the town's liability that umbrella?
Don't they have one for?
Like at the playground?
So you're talking about two questions. If there's personal injury, is there coverage? There was no coverage to replace the damaged playground, okay? Maybe there was a liability insurance. I'll find out. The personal injury.
Beach playground.
But there is now. Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is now.
There should be if anybody. has it.
Yeah, because it's the same as over the beach. It's covered under the town insurance. Over the beach, they fall off the thing, and when the beach is closed, they're still.
Right.
They're still covered under the town insurance if the beach falling off that.
So we kind of touched on our issues with the security cameras.
Ernie, can we talk about this campground letters and everything that we got?
Go right ahead.
Well, on the 2nd of March, I got a receipt that my lot rent and my storage and everything for next year is all paid. It's paid in full. That was $1,850. Okay,
That's correct.
That's correct. On the 11th of May, I received a letter that they're gonna up our water, sewer, and electric another $300. this year. So we would be paying $19.50 for this year. And then the $200 on top of that for our storage for next winter. And then there was another thing that come up. It was on wherever, that you're considering shortening our camping season to September 14th. Instead of 150 days, we would be camping for 137 days.
We are looking at a plan to close the cabins on September 14th as a cost saver. We are planning to keep the campsite open for all of the seasonals until the last Sunday, okay, in
And
September.
it's just, I wanted to find out just which way it was going, that's all.
Okay.
And, well, Mike and I were going to talk to you and said some of the people down there just can't dig in their pockets right off the bat to come up with that other $300. And you said just make sure it's paid before the end of the summer. for that-
Right.
That $300.
Do your best, take your time. We're not demanding it immediately,
Okay?
okay? Over time, pay.
It's just that people were talking and they were saying, boy, oh boy, if this keeps going, we're gonna get the heck out of here. We all know that the power's going up. And like I told you that day, we met in the office. Campground I came from, I had a meter. I had my power's meter. And it was around $600. Or somewhere between $400 and $600. It was $90 a month that I was paying. At least $90 a month. So this isn't, that $300 you're raising it isn't bad, but it would have been nice if it would have been in the letter before the first of the year, because you can ask whoever takes the money in here. My lot rent and my storage is paid by the middle of March anyways, every year, before I come into the campground. But then they get hit with the $300 afterwards, it was just a shock for everybody.
Well, the town officials, we were shocked, right, in February and March at our electric bills, which almost doubled. And so we have to, I'm sorry, pass it down.
To me, that's not a problem. But other people were saying, geez, we got receipts that were paid in full already for our $18.50 for the season. And then we get hit with another $300 after we're here camping.
Wasn't included.
When
in
we
the
first
letter.
came here, we
Okay.
paid $150 for storage. And then that $150 came off in our
Lot
lot rent
rent
for
in
the
the
next
spring.
year. Now you've moved it up to $200 and
And
it doesn't come off our lot.
that $200.
Over a year ago, I think we moved it from 150 to
Yes.
200.
To $200.
Okay, it wasn't this year.
No.
A year ago we did that.
But it was kind of a double whammy then,
The-
because you don't get it towards your
Back
next year's pay like you used to.
Back then, when we paid the $150, that was to guarantee you folks that we were coming back.
Right,
If we didn't come back,
We
then
forfeited the money.
we forfeited $150. But with us coming back, they took that $150 off in our lot rent for the new year.
you're not, I don't think you're paying any more, you're paying for next year. The 200 for the lot fee, okay? You pay in the fall, okay? And it takes care of you for the winter,
Yeah,
right?
But that's,
But that doesn't
It's on
change,
here.
it's always been that way.
no, it hasn't. That's what
We
we're saying.
said $150, we paid it in the fall. When it came time to come back here, they added that $150 onto what we, they took it off of what we had to pay. For a lot rent. That's why it was non-refundable. And the other thing is that he asked to have some dirt brought down for a big hole that's been there ever since we've been there.
And that's,
That's real swampy.
there
And
again,
we
you're
were
dealing
told
with Roger
if you
trying
wanna,
to get
yeah,
that
if you wanna pay for it, we'll bring it down. That's not our responsibility.
Roger said that?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
yes.
That is one.
I'll tell you how bad it was,
Instead of growing dirt, we had to pay for it.
Well, no, that's surprising.
not last year, but the year before, or was it last year? Mike? We got the heavy rain, and they couldn't even walk into their camper. So some people I'd seen down in the campground have been gone up and got topsoil or whatever. We went up and got, in my side-by-side, we got 2 loads of stone to dump in there so they could walk into their camper. He come down and chewed us out royally. You don't get nothing from that, behind that town barn, that belongs to the town of Waverly and not the campsite. I says, doesn't the campsite belong to the town of Waverly?
The campsite's part of the town of Waverly.
Yeah,
Must be a summer.
Well, he also told us that the campground, he has nothing to do with it.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Chris Mulder knows.
I mean, you raise.
I mean, we've met so many wonderful people here. And we love
They
it.
raise up the rates and then don't do anything. You guys are doing.
You know,
no
we're
improvements.
grateful to get the cable. That really helped. We make phone calls from down on our sit phone up on the hill. But, you know, it's just some of the things that we only have 30 amp service. We've learned to live with that, with the 30 amp service. And, you know, we don't have a problem with anything else other than what we've discussed right now.
Happy to have the bridge on.
Yeah, happy to have the bridge.
The bridge down.
We were put in the position about raising because of electricity and stuff. 1 month alone, went from $1,800, this big building, to 4,000 something.
You don't have to tell us.
The sewer treatment plant went from $1,900 to $3,600 a month. So somewhere something had to be increased.
well, that's.
We don't have a problem with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but no, I was just expecting people wonder why we did, the lighting in town went way up. It's gotta
Our
come,
home and our
Yeah,
home
yeah.
where we live.
it
Went up with
can't
everything.
only come, you know, you only budget so much every year to pay this stuff, so you're taking it from something else.
So what's the
And-
rationale for closing the cabins early if they're revenue generating? I don't understand why you would close the cabins early if they're bringing in revenue that would help support these increases.
After a certain date, a lot of them
There's
cabins
no-
aren't rented.
When I first moved here 5 years ago, the goal of that campground was to glorify it, improve it, make it 4-season, not every cabin. Those cabins are deplorable. I'm embarrassed. I had people come here and stay, with the exception of the A-frame. It was an embarrassment to have anybody come and stay with just mice filled, whatever. So where are we with that project? Because that was one of the allures for me to move here, is that we were trying to capitalize on tourism here and flourishing and helping the businesses here. And that's not happening. So we're gonna reduce the cabin time and not put any improvements into them. I just am having a hard time understanding this.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, if it went right to public vote in the town, they'd say close it.
That's not true at all.
I guarantee you
Yeah,
that.
maybe in your world, no.
It's losing
No.
money every year.
Absolutely.
I don't, I
Absolutely
say
not.
keep it open for a month longer.
It's losing money.
How can it happen?
It's Connell, and they're booking a year ahead of time on some of the
You
dates.
stop and figure, you guys aren't figuring in the taxes down there.
And nobody utilizes
Why
that.
don't they?
I understand that.
They don't make, I'm
Snowmobilers.
telling
I do understand that, but at the same time, you're talking about all of this money for taxes and blah, blah, blah. You're talking about closer to a month ago.
Well,
2 weeks ago, excuse me, sorry.
you, 2 weeks, right? Lawrence, you think campsite makes money?
Nobody's.
You think the campsite makes money? You were on the board years ago.
Anytime, that 1 year that I, got there, and I came into the town
All the
office,
spots
spent a couple days, and went over every bill, and it wound up losing $7,000.
And that's when the town people were paying for the water
Maybe if
and
it's
the
approved more,
sewer.
you get more people here, and you make more money.
some improvement.
Those cabins are getting run
Now,
down.
isn't the Rock Hill cabin winterized? How come that's not
Yeah,
being
that's
rented
heated
out?
all winter long.
I've got people telling me.
Not any other of them, just that one.
That's
Jasper
the
is
snowmobile.
exclusive.
That was,
get one
that,
cabin.
no, that was only done because they had a fire and we had good insurance and they,
Exactly.
rebuilt
Okay,
it.
so we winterize.
Capitalize on that.
So it's your best asset down there.
yeah,
So it should be taken care of.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
The water's running
So
through
don't
it.
close all the cabins, just close the ones that usually don't get rented out.
Right now, John says that Rock Hill cabin is rented except for the last week. And because he doesn't know what the board's gonna decide on, what you're gonna keep open or not. Now, that cabin, to my understanding, is heated winter, all year round. All throughout the winter. Why don't you advertise it? You have lodging for snowmobilers.
Ice skating rink.
Especially since Deer River, Deer Valley.
I got a little girl tell me, if you guys can open that up right for one of them, when they come to the phone, they'll rent that cabin.
A lot of kites aren't even up to
A lot of times, you have to hire somebody
Yeah, we're gonna have to hire somebody,
to clean it.
first of all,
and
let's plow,
then
but then you gotta shovel it, all right?
And then you got materials and
And it is.
Build that into the rent.
you have to-
It's
yeah.
already
the water
allowed
turned
down
on?
there
It's
now,
like
isn't
8
it?
people.
Yes.
Or the
10
water's on
people.
in that cabin.
The
All
water,
winter.
so you do have,
But it's
Water's on.
plowed, it is plowed, so you literally just have to have one camp shoveled out.
Another item for the job description for the town highway guy.
I know. Like when you plow by there, you just shovel out one cabin.
He wouldn't plow in front of the fire doors. So you're at risk of, they couldn't get the fire trucks or rescue out, so it would have been for rough.
Something needs to
Somebody
change.
has to keep that plowed all
Yeah,
winter
I
long,
know,
'cause
so it really needs to
the
look
fuel
into
guys
it.
gotta get in there, somebody's plowing up
The water and sewer man plows that part of the campsite.
who does it?
You get to the rock cabin.
If he does it then, he could do it. People
So the
run it.
water's already on year round, the heat is on year round, and it's already pumped by water and sewer, is that what you said?
And then it's not being rented.
That's not the one.
But then you gotta hire someone, okay,
That's one cabin.
to shovel, okay, the path. And then you gotta have someone to clean it, that's what people.
How much a week is that generating right now in money? To be
It's
rented
almost
out.
$900 a week, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more than that. I don't
It's
have the
almost
number.
$1,000.
So for that, you can't hire somebody to shovel out that.
now we know where we're
I
wasting.
have to hire someone.
Shovel
Also,
the
you need
driveway.
to,
Just saying.
So that was
This is nice, it's where we're
Over
gonna
say
go.
if you're getting
Money that you want up.
all right, folks. Let's get back on track.
I
We're
don't
done
know
with the
why the
campsite?
campsite isn't being left
So are we
open.
done?
That's what I would do, October. I would have the trunk or treat at the campsite instead of doing the trunks.
You're right.
And that's when I would close it out. 'Cause that's the holiday.
Have we realized any savings from the ban over National Grid?
A little bit,
A little bit?
a little bit.
Oh.
Okay,
I just,
it's a fraction, okay? It varies from month to month, okay? But it's still at a lower kilowatt hour
All
payment,
right,
okay?
as long as they're fulfilling their promises, you know, but they could still lower the water.
I have the cell phone from the man in charge, okay? And so from time to time,
Well,
phone calls are made, all right?
well,
You
the
try to
one
make
meeting-
phone calls,
Right.
okay?
The one meeting I was at 2 years ago, when I asked them to lower it, he laughed in my face. And then when Roger was here, he said, you need to lower the water, and all of a sudden, you know, the next day, they started opening, you know, the slide gates. And at that time, they said that they were waiting a delivery to make their slide gates automatic so that they can control them with the weather.
Right.
I don't know if that ever happened or.
My knowledge, that has not happened.
Correct.
Not completely.
I-
They do use electronics in other areas and other rivers.
Right,
When they go
yeah.
up, they have the data.
Yeah.
You just haven't got connected to. yeah.
Thank you, Ernie. Thank you.
All right. We talked about, in your packet, just so you can see the frustration that they are dealing with the tech company. Okay? It looks like this. It's in that new stuff that I gave you. So I'm gonna read this, to you, okay? So this was, so Chuck Robinson's the boss. So I emailed him on Friday, May 22nd. We're looking to have, okay, internet capabilities down on the wastewater plant. So I threw out an idea. We could string wire from the last pole down in the campground to the wastewater plant. What do you think? We are very pleased with the Wi-Fi in the lower part of the campground. However, can we find a more secure area for the monitor than the railing on the overlook? We need to agree on a final bill. However, at least one or two employees need to have access to the cameras. We need to be comfortable with it. I never received an email on the camera shot that I requested last night. Maybe we could settle things with a face-to-face meeting. Enjoy the long weekend. So I get a response today. So that was last Friday. Today, Tuesday. Should have footage in a few. This is what I asked for last Thursday night. I still don't have that footage. Also, we have that building all set connection lines. I'm talking about the building by the beach, that water place. So I was talking about the wastewater plant, and now he's talking about the beach.
Where are we on the agenda?
Okay, where it
It
says.
seems like we skipped sewage issue at the bus garage.
We're not there yet. We're doing security cameras update. Okay? So, this is what we're dealing with.
He didn't answer anything.
No, it didn't. So we'll continue to try. And maybe we have to take it to a lawyer, okay, and kill the whole contract or something. Review of the cost of electricity. So there's a chart going over a year that shows what our monthly charges are. So the board has that.
What company is that?
So we show what our bills are from National Grid and what we did,
No, the company, the security cameras.
on Rhinebeck Tech.
Adirondack.
On Rhinebeck Tech.
We talked a little bit about the different buildings and their electrical things. And I didn't bring the paper, but I read it down. I come down different times all the time. bring the soul in here. Every light's on, the office light is on, the kitchen light is on, the TV's going, and every light is on in the truck bed. I shut them off. I leave and I come back 3 hours later. Every single one is right back on. And I know why it is because I said, you know, the electric in this whole building went up $2,000 and something. Can we make sure that we turn that thing on? They don't leave them on at the town garage. They don't leave them on at the bus garage. They don't leave them on anywhere else, but right here. And I know it's only one individual. I know what it is, and he's doing it on purpose because he's mad, but.
You ever try to come in here in the middle of the night, Billy, and get in a fire truck?
Yes,
Like they're out.
for 25 years I did before I got hurt. I come in, and you come through that door right there, you hit that switch. You go to that door, you hit that switch. I've done it, Ralph. And I know it ain't you guys.
I shut the lights off every time.
I know you do. I told you, it ain't the whole fire department. It's one individual. And it's all because we asked with the rate and they really raised the cost of the, and it is this right here because of one individual doing it on purpose, not you guys. I know that you, Wilbur, you're very good about it. Everything's shut off. But I come down this morning, go to things. 4:45. Every single light was on in here. And guess what? Ann Hartson was being let off to come to work at 6 o'clock. She was the one working in here. This individual come in and turned everything on at 4:30 this morning just to be an ass. That's the honest truth.
Well, we also helped out by putting in LED lights.
Yeah, I know you guys
Throughout
do.
the whole building.
Not arguing with you about Ralph. You guys do a lot of work. You do a good job. Just one individual and all the other people, when they found out, like I said, the town garage, the bus, they all shut their lights off. They got to go into that garage in the dark. What do? They flip a switch before they go to. Yeah, but it's gotten crazy now. The cost of electricity was. That's why I hit all. But, and I know it ain't you guys, Ralph.
So is he just a normal fireman that's doing this, or,
Well, it's just a.
I mean, is he an
Just an
official of any kind? If not, you're in it.
Keep going.
We're keep it on him about it. Hopefully he falls into the that now that he knows that it's being watched, they can shut it down. It's like
Wilbur Bailey is the fire chief. He's addressed that with his people, right?
yes.
So he's done that, okay? Unfortunately, you don't have consensus. All right, moving on to sewage issue with the bus garage. So we have a contract, okay, from our engineering firm, okay, to design a plan, okay? We have sewage problems, all right? Bus garage, highway department, okay, ancient pipes, okay? They're breaking on the inside, creating barriers, all right? So we have a contract to enter with Tisdale Associates, okay, to design a plan, okay, to put a new sewage system in.
When I stated that we, as a district, were not going to continue our bus garage contract, there were no questions asked as to why. That is one strand as to why when my transportation team is told to use a portalette and not to put anything solid down the toilet, that broke the camel's back. On top of the roof leaking, the deplorable conditions, the conditions of the pit, being told to plow the pit in. We have to take our buses to Malone to have them serviced because the pit has not been repaired and is a danger to my transportation team. This was just one element of that. Take a walk down and look at the deplorable conditions that my transportation team has had to endure this last year. And the rent went up. For what? The roof leaks, There's barely any heat in there. The internet is sketchy. We had to put something in there so that my transportation team could actually make phone calls and use the internet. So I just want everyone to know that that's why the bus garage contract has been discontinued. The Board of Education has decided that we're not paying $28,000 for what?
Where are you going?
Nothing.
Where are you?
We're going to keep them on campus,
Outdoors.
outdoors, like most of the districts in Northern New York. We're not paying 28 grand for nothing.
We're still gonna go forward with this to fix the problem, okay? This contract was reviewed by our attorney. He had a concern with it, all right, about, the liability that they would have. It's not high enough. And also, they want indemnification clause. So I've addressed this with Tisdale, all right? And so we will be tabling this contract, okay, until the recommendations that our attorney has made, all right? So, but we're gonna move forward with this.
Also regarding that, I would like the minutes amended because I sent you, Ernie, as well as your secretary, an email stating that the board member and I were no longer going to come and present to the board at the last meeting, and it says here that I had a scheduling conflict. Not the case at all. This makes it look like I just didn't show up, and I intentionally sent you an email and Tricia an email saying that Mr. Kelly and I were not going to attend the board meeting because it would be a moot point at that time. So I think that those minutes should be amended because this honestly makes it look like I just didn't show up. Thank you.
I can tell you this, I never received that email.
Well, I sent it to both you and your clerical person
I
and
don't
said
think-
disregard my request to be on the agenda.
We never got that email.
Okay.
The second contract that we're looking with is the grant writing with Lavella Associates, all right? And Matt McCargo looked at that, and he felt that this contract is fine, and in the best interest of the district. So I recommend that later on that contract to look for planning grants for wastewater and for our drinking water, and we move forward with that.
Did we get, as I requested the last meeting, something in writing saying that because of our financial situation, that will not be held against us? And also, we haven't finished the possible budget cuts. I'd rather see 7,000 go towards the youth program on the beach, other than the grant, if it is the fact that we haven't gotten something back saying that our financial situation right now will not keep us from getting the grant.
On page 2 of this, okay, there's a paragraph that addresses that issue. I feel.
Still want it in writing from them. That they know, in the grant writing, people know that.
Is there a letter from, okay, Jamie Pankowski? It's just the beginning sheet there. Before the contract. Find it?
I know I read it. I can switch. Somehow when you first came in, that's-
That what you want?
It's not, it's in an email, and it also says some financial reports will be needed, which we don't have our financials up to date. But to me, that would say we have a good chance we're just throwing $7,000 up.
Yeah.
And we haven't voted on the other cuts. We're talking about $7,000. We have so much in our budget right now. We still have to discuss the possible cuts for the 226 budget, which is part of this. We have $7,000 we're talking about to be used in different areas. I think we need to come to a consensus on the possible cuts before we're putting another $7,000 into something else.
We can do that.
Yeah, because like you say, that you've done this before and working with them, if your finances are up, most of the time they decline your grant money, right?
Right. I mean, most grants, they're gonna look at you and say, have you filed your taxes? Now, we're almost done, but we still haven't. We were 4 years in arrear, not by anyone's fault here. But we're catching up, but we're still on 2024. We're still not up to date. We're a year behind, actually 2 years, well,
1 year. Well,
1 year, March, April,
We got
so we're in
two-
May, so we're already late on
25.
25, so we're 2 years in arrear right now, 25 and 24. Because we're getting, I guess somewhat we're getting an extension on 25. But we haven't filed 25 and we haven't filed 24, so we're 2 years behind.
And when you did that up in Senate, a lot of times they denied it because your finances weren't right,
Well,
right?
it's, as a whole, that's the requirement to start with, because they're gonna give you money, you need to be able to manage it correctly.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Based on-
absolutely, I think that's great. Idea.
The point here is, this firm, Lavella, is telling us, for planning grants, okay, you don't have to have your AUDs up to snuff, okay? But once you get the money to do the bigger grants, all right, then you have your AUDs or your annual financial report up to date. All right? So we're looking at getting planning grants, okay?
I
So
still
we can
feel
write
like the
bigger.
financial problem is a big issue with that though. Like you were saying, they're gonna look at the finances. And if they're not up to date, then why are they gonna say, here's some money?
Well, another way to look at this is we're never gonna fix our wastewater plant. It needs a lot of work, all right? Our water plant, both of these are aging facilities, and they've gotta be modernized, and it's gonna be millions of dollars to fix it. So we gotta go down this path, all right, and try to get grant money. Because you can't raise taxes high enough to raise millions of dollars. All right, we're just putting a Band-Aid on these issues. And I think we gotta move forward and go for the planning. They're telling us we'll be okay with not being up to snuff for the planning grants. But the big time grants, which are multi-millions, you gotta have your financials up to date. There's a lot of money.
When are they gonna be brought up to snuff? I mean, when are the financials for the town gonna be brought up to where they're supposed to?
Hopefully by the end of this year. 24 and 25 should be done before this year is over.
So is there a time limit on the grant?
So this is his plan, you hadn't applied for any yet.
Oh,
This is just planning.
See, and that's the same issue with, that they're running into, with this whole building. This whole building needs major work. And you can't get any grants for it because we're behind. The only reason they got the best part of the whole building is the doctor's office and the judge's quarter, and that's because Jeff Frazier got a grant years ago to have that fixed. But everything was up to snuff, so he was able to
That's what
get
I'm
it.
saying, if that
Now
will
it's not.
be in a year, then it's not very
But the previous board and the Ernie and them, I wasn't on it, they got the right idea. They're getting all the thing caught up, and that's what you need to do. You gotta get it caught up. But Tim makes a good point too. He's experienced with it, but this company's telling Ernie and all them they're all right, so.
But they're looking, right here, it says, financial reports are required for some construction grant programs.
And those are
But
the
not
bigger
for
pro,
planning.
yeah, that's for the bigger plans where you need multi-millions of dollars to do construction. What we're looking for now is planning grants, so we can plan the big construction and apply for it.
We're planning, we have two things coming on here. Do we not have enough money to pay for, you've got budget cuts for 2026. And we're going for 7,000 or how much is it?
It's around 7. Might be 7,500. The two different planning. Two.
Now, last year you proposed your budget, you've all voted on it. With these beach, kind of the 4 workers for the campsite, this was all approved for this year.
Yeah,
So
the money's there.
the money's there, so why do we want it if that's what was voted and that's the budget? I don't understand why you'd want to cut them out. I know you're
Because
trying
we
to.
need the money to pay electrical bills, okay?
But was that where the money was appropriated? I mean, if that was what Billy's saying, if it was voted on for that, how can you utilize it for another fund line?
The board can authorize transfers.
And if we cut that, how can we pay for the?
You mean
grant-
you.
the grant writer?
Yeah.
Where's that money coming from then?
I'd like to say something.
Certainly.
So I grew up here, grew up in a great town, great families. What's becoming of this community? My question to you guys is, what do you guys want this town and the future of it to look like? Do you want it to grow or do you want it to die?
Die.
Because
It's very clear.
because the $7,500 that there's nothing for kids to do during the summertime or a place for them to go, it's not worth cutting it to have nothing for kids to do. I mean, the school's already been cleared out prior to Denise being there. The beach is next. I mean, what's bringing people into town? What is attracting people to come here? I mean, I graduated with 30 kids. Billy and Jim excluded because both of their kids stayed in town like me because we have families here. But you guys need to think of the longevity of this community. Who is going to come here? What is the reason to stay here?
Because my kid graduated last year with 12 kids.
We have 9.
Him and
this year.
9 this year.
You know what I mean?
Nobody
The
is
kids
staying.
is all we have. That's all we have.
The only thing we have here is
That's our
dogs.
future.
Well, look at how many, well, Denise can tell you, look at how many, teachers took their jobs and their kids because somebody up there and left.
Yeah.
Who ever hear of
Whose idea?
9 kids graduating in the school? 9.
Who
Now,
who came up with the idea of cutting the beach to begin with? Was this Ernie's idea?
No,
It's my idea.
it was his.
Shame
he's
on
looking at
you
ways
for
to
being
cut.
a superintendent of schools for that long and coming up with something like that. I think that's despicable.
So, you know, I know I said something pretty radical before. That's not the proposal, okay? It was something like, it said something like cutting it like 3 or 4 hours a day.
But where are kids gonna go for 3 or 4 hours? You want them to go
We're
swim
not
at the
doing
park?
that. We're not looking at that, okay? So that was out there, and it's my fault, okay? We're not looking at that.
There's been no money put into it. It's deplorable. The basketball court has not been repaired. The swings, there's 2 functional swings right now. I don't know what else is over there that even is functional. I don't know why they kill. I talked to a parent today who said she takes her kids to Brushton, to the playground there, because this one is so ridiculous.
youth council usually buys the swings and such, but I don't, we wait for the lifeguards to come in, and lifeguard usually says, we need the road, we need this and that. And
Basketball court hasn't been repaired in the 5 years I've been here.
usually know what it needs, but, so you're finding
It needs
out.
that.
We do have a public and board comments. If we're gonna ever issue that comes before this board, if you're gonna allow the audience to inject their opinion, we're never gonna get through this. And I guarantee you, if I've been up to a school board meeting before, and if you, speak, out of turn, you're told to be quiet. So let's get some,
Thank you, Lawrence. Stay on the agenda.
back into this. And then people got a question to ask, public comment, other than if the board wants to ask an individual.
All right, moving on. Last board meeting, we talked about, okay, this minor tax on vacant South River Road properties. All right, so I addressed this with the individual in charge, and all of those taxes have been wiped out, okay? Even though we were talking 2 cents, 4 cents, right? It was ludicrous. So it's all, I directed this to Real Property Services, Kenny Brooks. She got a letter, you got a letter in the board packet. Okay, after she received that letter, everything was wiped out. And our assessor, okay, double checked to make sure they were all wiped out. Just an irony, okay, that back in 2023, all right, the highway superintendent and the supervisor did not fill out their CHIPS money in the proper time frame, all right, and we lost over $41,694 because the CHIPS weren't filed in a timely manner. And it's too late for us to do it.
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. Okay? So Roger wanted to point that out because he files his CHIPS money, okay, in a timely manner. So there's been numerous repairs in the wastewater plant. The spinner that breaks down, okay, the solid manner, okay, there's a huge electrical problem, all right, that, was the pumps and the spinners weren't working in a timely manner. We actually plugged in an extension cord so it would work, all right, so that's vital to the whole wastewater system. But we've replaced the panel, all right, as well as the electrical cord, so now that's fixed. Okay, of course, that was thousands of dollars.
Was Jared able to do that, or did we have to pay someone?
We hired the next era to come in and do it. The Springs Street Lift Station, which has been constantly, this is out by the trailer court, all right? We battle with the pumps in that system, okay? So it is fixed, okay? It's working. It cost us probably 15, even though Jared and Tony did most of the work, okay? It probably cost us $15,000, but it's not working.
And that will save us right now because of the, we used to have it pumped out at Spring Street.
Yes, yes. So it wasn't working, and then we had to hire, okay, a guy to come and pump it into another area, in another manhole, so it goes down to the sewage treatment plant. So that's a good thing, a very good thing.
We won't have to pay that anymore.
That was very expensive.
Highway superintendent's report, I don't have much, okay, is that they continue to repair culverts, all right? Cutting brush back, grading, okay, the gravel roads.
I saw the trucks running all day today. Are they hauling sand?
I think they're holding some for water. And they're stockpiling it up on the hill, okay, where the old recycling area was. So they're gonna fill this area up, but they're also making it handy, so it's up,
Oh,
okay, next to
Yeah.
the church.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So the possible cuts. In the beach, we were looking at cutting 1 hour a day and starting, instead of having the beach open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., they would open at 11. The lifeguards would report at 10:30 so they could do their chores, okay, in the building as well as out checking the ponds that hold down the barriers out there, as well as hold down the rafts. That would be $992 if we made that change. We were looking at shorting the beach season to close on Sunday, August 16th. And that would save us $1,906.
Oh,
Okay, in the past, all right, there's a chart of how many days the beach was open in August. And there's records that go back to 2017. In 2017, we had 20 days in August and then we closed the beach, so that was August 20th. 2018, we had 17 days and then the beach was closed. 2019, we closed it on day 18. 2020, there was no beach because of COVID. 2021, 19 days, and then we closed. On 2022, we had 20 days, and then the beach closed in August. 23 was 17 days, 24 is 18 days. Last year, we intentionally extended it a week, all right? So we closed the beach after 24 days in 2025. So what I'm asking is to go back to the normal opening, which would be to close on Sunday, August 16th.
which would be how many days?
It's 16 days, 16 days. So normally we have anywhere from 2 to 4 days in June that the beach opens, it all depends. And then school closes and then they start on the Saturday after, all right? Some years it's just 2 days in June. This year it's actually gonna be 4 days in June.
School doesn't resume until September 8th.
Right.
Colleges, I remember way back when the youth council was paying the lifeguard salaries when we first reopened the beach. The students were going off to college, the lifeguards were going off to college, and they had soccer, they were leaving early, so I remember it starting, it was in August at some point.
You're talking about the second to third week in August is when college is starting.
What's that?
The second to third week.
Is that who we're employing for lifeguards, college kids? Not to my knowledge, I know.
It's mostly high school kids.
Yeah, so September 8th is when the kids go back to school.
They can at least swim anyways, if there's no lifeguards there, you can go by any day or any time, that beach has got a ton of people there.
It all really depends, okay? the temperature out there.
But that's what-
A lot of
The
it
hotter it
depends
is,
on
there's
weather.
more people there. And sometimes
knows?
when it gets crowded, 3 lifeguards are put out.
But there's a lot of days that there's still swimming, there's no lifeguards there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, I go up to the camp every day.
You know, there's a sign,
There's swimming
there's
anyway.
signs saying, you know, if there's no lifeguard, you can't swim. Do people adhere to that? No,
No, but you don't want someone to drown either.
you certainly don't want that either.
Will these hours allow the lifeguards to still continue with the swimming lessons?
Yes, swimming lessons are generally, okay, Saturday morning.
And there will still be the lunch program.
Yes, the lunch, it's all organized. I've spoken to the people in the Citizens Advocate. The lunch program will start, okay, on Monday, July 6th. And that's when it usually starts, right after the 4th. So that's all set to go. Then we have another proposal, okay, to close the cabins, okay, on September 14th. All right, and we would save $2,390. The seasonals would remain open, okay?
What would you, what would that, where would you get the savings from? What is it you're not?
The individual who takes care of those cabins would be laid off.
And how much did you say?
$2,390.
For 2 weeks?
Yep,
And you subtract any revenue from that, or?
as of this point, no one has, we've accepted open enrollment, no one has signed up for those cabins.
No, they haven't, because he said he wasn't gonna rent it out until he knew what the actual final date was. No one can make a reservation right now. Isn't that what someone said earlier, that
Yeah. Rockefeller.
they're waiting for him to
For the Rocket.
So-
know exactly what.
When the seasonals are there won't be nobody there at the end?
No, okay? John's gonna stay and your
Okay,
son's
so-
gonna get laid off.
So one guy down there makes 4,000 a month?
They're paid the same, an hourly rate.
Yeah, I understand, but I just, anyway, the numbers just didn't add up, sorry.
We don't want to lose John down there. He's messed off. He's fantastic.
Then the youth program, okay, we hired 4 students last year, all right? And we paid them $16 an hour. If we don't have the program, we would save $5,165.40.
Yeah, I don't think you should get rid of the youth program.
Aren't there grants available for like summer youth programs?
Social services.
There could be a possibility, okay, that contacting Catholic Charities, and they might allow us to hire some kids.
Well, would that be worth checking into? I mean, I think that employing our youth
It would be a good thing, because they would pay the salaries for the kids.
Right, and
And
then
the
the
town would
money
still save
saved
the
in the
money.
program stays.
I'm against cutting the program anyways. It was already allotted in the budget. I think kids have always been on it. I know they say they ain't going around doing, or they haven't tried. Whoever's in charge of them supervising. You can't, well, if they're at the campsite, you got, somebody can let. Kids are gonna sit there on the bench and do nothing if you allow them to sit there and do nothing. You get somebody to go and say, you know, look, you're not on your phones, you go to, they'll do the work.
Yes.
I mean, I grew up here in town. I was in part of the youth program. We worked all over town. We had somebody come and tell you, you did the stuff you had to do. And most of your kids will listen if you got an adult. If an adult just sits down and allows them to do that, they're gonna sit down. I'm against cutting any of that. I think the youth
A
program
lot
is a
of
good thing.
local youth worked on those programs, you know?
Especially some families that are hurting, that kid working here, that buys school clothes for that kid, that buys, I mean, it means a lot to certain
I know
kids.
it's only 4 kids, but we're not a big town anyway, and we got 9 graduating.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, that's
that
half,
helps.
that's half the class right there.
The-
You know, that you're taking jobs from.
It's mostly younger class.
Right.
Most seniors don't work this because they already have a job and they're going to college.
Right, but still, I mean, it helps these kids buy school supplies, school clothes.
Work ethic.
Resume builders.
Executive skills.
Yep, I just hate to see something else yet again taken away from our youth in this town.
Yeah. That's been like a battle since I was a child in this town, this stuff being taken away from you. The beach is closed, was closed when I was a kid, it was open, and then closed, and then opened again, so was the campsite. I was alive for the campsite to be closed before too. I don't wanna see it happen again. I think it's going backwards if we do.
It's pretty much a ghost town compared to what it was when I was a kid. All pretty different.
Do we know that there's kids to fill all the positions?
I'm sure, I'm sure there would be some kids.
If there's kids to fill
What's
the
next? I got
positions.
Kelsey milk. Let's go. I gotta get back to work. I'm going, it's taking too long to get things done.
So what do you want to do? You know, the only reason why I'm looking at these cuts to pay for our electric bills.
Say aye.
But cutting kids is the worst thing to do.
It's
the last resort.
It's a bitter pill.
Social services, Franklin County Social Services every year has a summer youth employment program that's just how this youth program started, was that grant was obtained. And I know it's last minute because they only get the monies, like the commissioner just told me, Kim, we just got our notice of monies, the board has to adopt it. It's short notice for people, but if you're on it, a lot of towns use it, schools, fire departments, and you get free assistance from students. It doesn't cost the taxpayers anything.
Wilbur utilizes it, and his
Yeah.
kids working in summer, they went to
School
school.
youth student, yeah,
Wilbur uses Catholic Charities. I think.
and that's what it
Worse than
is.
fire
That's what it
department.
is. They administer it
Should
for
check
social
into that.
services.
They played late last year to volunteer
They consider
at
county
the, Alonzo Wilder Farm and the Cat Palace. Catholic charities.
Vote on that.
Yeah, we need to vote.
Yeah, we don't. Well, we're voting on the youth one first. I say we don't cut it. But I think we need to help the kids. I don't think we need to cut it.
I second it.
So if there's no motion, okay, then we're proceeding. Okay. We need a motion and second that,
I make a motion that we don't cut it.
well, either way.
Tim seconded it.
If you vote in favor, you're saying no, okay, to this cut.
No cut. I said no cut to the youth program. To cut it? No.
No cut.
Tim voted no cut.
No vote.
All right, so it's defeated, the motion's defeated, okay? There's no cut. All right, the housekeeping person.
Did you look at, how many cabins were rented during that period?
You could use the waves. It was few and far between. There's sparks.
Johnson, don't be rich, so.
I know, that's why I want to put it. Nobody's renting them, okay, granted, cut it.
What about if we leave, but if we leave the Rock Hill open, we're gonna need to keep it, right?
John said he could handle the rock.
We can't hear you back here, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I couldn't hear Cindy out.
I asked Ernie if he checked on how many cabins were rented after September 14th last year. And he said very few were rented.
When is the end of the reservation period in their books? Like,
September,
It's the last Sunday in September.
so we're talking a 2-week period. Closing the cabins down 2 weeks early.
Yeah.
Um,
14 days.
So what I asked him was, could we keep the Rock Hill cabin open and close the other one? And he said yes, that John said he could keep that
Handle the
one,
rock.
he could keep that one open and clean it himself.
that's the one that's heated with water on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes sense.
So we could close all the other cabins, which normally aren't rented.
Just for the 2 weeks, you mean?
Just for the
Yes,
2
just for
weeks.
the 2 weeks. Close the other cabins, but keep the Rock Hill cabin open.
Right.
When you go there, you walk through the campground the last 2 weeks in September, okay? If it's a weekday, there's nobody in the cabins, maybe one. Okay? And on weekends, okay, maybe there was 2 or 3 cabins being rented those last 2 weeks.
Be a great time to do maintenance.
And consider there's 9 of them, you know? You're paying someone to look at empty cabins.
Would you consider leaving the Rock Hill one open all winter if all it needs to be is shoveled? And try to earn some revenue at like $1,000 a week, or, I mean, you've got
Well-
snowmobilers and four-wheelers.
That's an idea, yes. okay?
That's something we
Good
could,
idea, I think.
But you
That
gotta
is
hire someone, okay, to shovel, and then you gotta have someone to do the maintenance and the cleaning inside.
but that is something we could consider.
But it's one cabin and it becomes exclusive so that there's a pull there.
Yeah.
People want to.
And that would fall just partially in this year, but more so in 2027's budget.
But that is something when we're doing our new budget that we can consider.
And if it goes well, we could consider if we ever got the money to fix up other buildings and do winterized.
That would be a big deal because we don't, those are not able to be winterized. We would have to do all new plumbing in those.
Just thinking something for the future.
Right, well, when I was a kid, I remember having a sliding party down there. And Uncle Billy,
when the fireplaces.
yeah, had a fireplace.
Yeah, but we don't have
Right,
a way
I mean,
to
now it's not
winter,
like that, but-
winterize them. But
Having
it's
that one
certainly an
cabin
idea.
would probably draw, it'd be a good test if you
And
advertise.
you might be able to get a grant in the future if you get things caught up.
yes,
I mean, it would make more sense than heating it and everything all
For
winter
nothing.
and getting nothing.
Right.
absolutely.
All right, so what are we gonna do?
I propose closing the cabins down except for the Rock Hill and leave the Rock Hill one open.
Do I have a second on that?
Did you hear me, Billy?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor?
How's that gonna affect the other band down there with his, like, unemployment? Is he still gonna be able to get it?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
You'll have enough time then, right?
Oh, yeah, he has enough time then, okay.
I'm sure he got his time in.
Yeah, that is a big deal. You don't have to pay without his pay.
I mean, the first year you might be all right, but the second year not.
I don't know how it works now.
Because I don't know how the quarters go. But they do some kind of cumulative thing.
It goes by the
Where
course,
if
they
you're
don't
short one
stop
year,
on
they bring
weeks.
you in, but you can't be short the second.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Nobody should have to lose
Because
their
it's a seasonal job, you know.
All right. Thank you.
I would just look into that, then I would be in favor of it if you could get it on employment.
Absolutely.
It's my understanding that it'll happen.
You've talked to him about it?
Yes.
Can you call for verification out to home at the employment division?
You gotta call it the,
Division.
I called the Department of Labor.
Oh, did you already?
Okay, okay. But I can double check it if you want.
Okay, I would like that already.
Because they talk about court, and then, you gotta know what that means. So that when they answer your questions, they talk in their language, okay? But what does that mean to me to explain it to people in everyday language? Like a foreign language.
It's just, the winter time when they're collecting unemployment is really rough up in this neck of the woods. And if somebody's gonna lose their income,
The 2 weeks you said you would be saving $23.90. Have you checked like the last 5 years in that 2 weeks span to see if you're gonna make more than what you brought in? Those 2
I didn't go back 5
Well,
years.
that would be
I
kind of nice,
basically
because if you're
looked
not
at
losing
what
any
was
money
happening
those 2 weeks, what's the point?
last year, okay? What happened? So we got a motion,
And a
okay,
second.
to do the cut, and keep the Rock Hill open, all right? All right, so what's the vote? All those in favor?
I would just like to verify that employment first, if there are any, pain in the butt. We have on call.
I
So I
mean,
just want to make sure that's it.
before next meeting, could they go back like for 5 years and just look at those 2 weeks and see if they brought more money in than they paid out? If they did, or if they broke even, why close the facilities? I don't get it.
I asked John.
When I
And he
spoke
said-
to John about this,
What did I-
he said to me, we should have done this a long time ago. So he's worked down there a long time, and it's his impression that,
I think by the time you shine up a few cabins, you'll be right back to where you were, where you have no problem the last 2 weeks.
That'd be good kind of money.
that's possible, that's possible.
Yeah,
I can't say that's not gonna happen.
very good possibility.
you gotta spend money sometimes to make money.
You gotta have it, though, I agree. Has the money been taken out of the campsite for the sewer and water?
Yes, I
To give back to the
Yeah, it's
right
fair.
things?
They would still have to decide on the beach.
I'm for one, I'm unclear about the youth program. You said the motion was defeated, but Billy's motion was to not close it. So,
So it really wasn't a motion. It's not really a motion.
Yeah, it was defeated, any way you look at it, right?
It's not happening.
Do you have it that way?
okay, so that's kind of my question. It's what's not
It was
happening.
basically failed to get a motion.
So
close
the
it.
program is still in effect.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And right now, we got a first for closing the campsite for the 2 weeks. We got a first and a second, and we're still kind of on hold right
And we
now.
don't have any other votes.
We don't have any-
We have none in favor, so it's defeated. So all I'm asking for is an hour a day, all right? And then to close when we normally close. when you look at the past dates when beaches were closed.
I don't see a problem with that one, Ernie, because I don't see many kids being down there before 11 o'clock, and it was not 10 o'clock, so I don't see a problem with it, moving it from 10 to 11, opening. And like I said, I come up and down that road all the time, opening at 11 for 1 hour, I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
Are your lifeguards gonna be looking elsewhere if you cut 5 or 6 hours a week out of 25?
Yes.
I have no idea.
I don't either.
Okay.
Just the throwing it
It's 1 hour a day, and forget, it's open, once we open, it's open every day, all right? So there's plenty of
How many
hours.
hours a pay though? I mean, how many hours would they be cutting in a pay period, I guess?
For the hour, an hour.
It depends on how many lifeguards we have.
And what's if it's a senior lifeguard or if it's a junior?
It's not draining money that goes into that.
Right, so once they go through their lifeguard certification, CPR, which the town pays for, all right, most of them stick with it, all right? They're happy to have the job.
Yeah, they have to be.
And I know, especially if the kid is a freshman or a sophomore, they take that money and they go out and buy clothes.
What's this recertification, every 3 years? I can't remember.
Two.
Two?
Two.
I know, my kids went to college, they were lifeguards. They started up here and ended up doing it in their college for extra money.
And CPR is gonna be every year. CPR is every year, and then the lifeguard thing is every 2. Motion, a second. If we don't have any, then we're done. We don't have a motion, I guess we're done. Let me move on. Guards, all right, the first one, Holly Frazier, head lifeguard at $20 an hour. They're all getting 50 cents an hour more, which we budgeted, all right? 50 cents an hour more. Holly Frazier, head lifeguard, $20 an hour. Motion, second. Tim made the motion. Okay. Cindy seconded it. All those in favor? Motion passed. Okay, the guy that we have listed there, Chester Damon, he's not gonna work for us. He's working at Dollar General. So we move on. Carissa Brown, senior lifeguard, $18.50 an hour. Motion? Okay, Billy makes the motion, Jim seconds it, all those in favor? Carissa's hired. Alexis Sprankle, senior lifeguard, $19.50 an hour. Billy makes the motion, Tim seconds it, all those in favor? She's hired. Abigail Rivers, junior lifeguard, $17 an hour. Cindy makes the motion, Billy seconds it, all those in favor? Isabella Decar is moving on. She's gonna do something else, so we're not hiring her. We have a newcomer, Keegan Legary, to be hired as a junior lifeguard at $16.50. That's his first year, okay, with us. And he's eager to do the job, okay? Cindy makes the motion, Billy seconds it. All those in favor? Okay, he's hired. Lily, we're planning to have the lunch program, so Lily Sherman has done it for us in the past, all right? And she'll do it again this summer at $17 an hour.
Well, that program, they bring it in from Malone and
Yes.
it's just somebody down there distributes
She
it.
takes it, puts it in the refrigerator, because it comes probably 8:45, 9 o'clock. That's what happened in the past, 8:45 to 9. It's refrigerated immediately, because there's there. And then when kids want it, starting from, she serves from probably 10:30 to 12:30, and then she's done. That's only a Monday through Friday program,
Yep.
okay? It's not on the weekends. But we're lined up and signed up for that. All right, so that's who we're employing to work
I don't
with.
think we did Cindy and who's second?
Who?
Who seconded Lily?
Billy.
I did.
Okay.
All those in favor? Lily's fast. Okay, so, the Tisdale Associates contract, okay? So our lawyer made 2 recommendations. I'm in contact with him, so we're gonna table that, all right? Until, we make the changes that our attorney wants. So we vote to table that. Billy, Cindy makes the motion, Billy seconds, and all those in favor, we're gonna table it. Passes. All right, Lavella Associates, the contract. I think we could do it. We gotta go down the path. This is the path we gotta take.
Do we have the money?
Yes. Okay? I know we can take it from there's plenty of places in the general budget, under the contingency line item, the money's there. And we can transfer it to pay this. Out of contingency line item, it's there. There's other areas too.
Yes. I understand, I know, a lot went in my mind of what Tim was saying, but then also what you're saying too. We gotta make a move, and if this isn't for the long term, this is a planning, and I make a motion that we do that.
I second it.
Okay, all right, you have a motion and second, all those in favor? Opposed? All right, so you got a 4-1 vote, all right, the contract approved. All right, so we got problems in our sewer budget, okay, we only have $16,000 in it. So I'm asking the board to transfer, we have $70,000 in the water budget, to transfer $30,000 so we can get through the rest of this year.
Now, will we pay them back?
That would be the understanding, 2026. Okay, if I got a budget transfer from water to sewer, I got a breakdown, okay, what we have in water as of the 18th of May. I got this sheet here. It's the new stuff I gave.
Yep.
So to get us through the rest of the year, I anticipate there's gonna be $28,605 in payroll that we have to pay, all right, to get us through. I estimated $13,405 to pay electrical bills. And then I'm budgeting $5,000 for other costs and materials. So the revenue to meet that is we transfer the 30,000. Working closely with Amy White, okay? There's a second round when people pay their sewer fees in October, okay? We collected here, March and April, almost $31,000 in fees. And Amy said to me, looking at the past, okay, we're probably gonna collect more, okay, in the fall. So I'm estimating that it could be up to $37,000 in meter fees in the fall, based on what our collector has told me. Okay,
And that would pay back the loan of the 30,000.
No, that'd get us through the rest of the year.
Years to the year, and then we pay it back either late this year or probably. The one thing, we have $5,000 in payroll cuts. We were paying Tony LaRue, okay, $500 in water, $500 in sewer. He's willing to let the sewer go to zero. So we're only gonna pay him to do water, to be our supervisor, but he's gonna supervise both, okay, wastewater, all right? So this is charity from him of $7,500.
Wow.
Because that would be $1,000 a month for the rest of the year. And then 1 month, there's 3 payrolls
So he's taking a cut in pay.
of $7,500.
Really?
So that's one of the payroll cuts.
How gracious.
And probably, well, he's a good man, sorry.
Yeah.
Probably our part-timer, I'm gonna probably cut back on his time. Very gently. And then guess who's gonna pick that up? You're looking at it. So that's the plan to get us through, okay, with our sewer costs. So I gave you printouts, okay, here, these are gigantic printouts, okay? Everything that was put in and taken out in water and in sewer from the beginning of the year. So we're gonna cut back on salaries, okay, in 2 different ways, all right? And, okay, I think our big projects of repairs, okay, cost us, okay, but they're done. But there's no guarantees in the future.
Keep your
Not with
fingers
this
crossed.
water system.
Yeah,
That we don't have a breakdown.
I missed the one there, I missed the C. So we're on F.
I think motion that we transfer money to this.
Okay, Jim makes the transfer from water to sewer, $30,000. Cindy seconds it. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. So we have to go back to C, all right? The different work that the highway department has done for the parks, for water repairs, some sewer repairs. We've got a whole page, okay?
The one that says Danielle Susan.
Yes, the Danielle Susie. So I gave her this, but she hasn't done it yet, okay? Pending board approval for all these things. You see, this is the one we're talking about. We missed C, that was C.
Yeah, I'll get a copy of it.
Okay, I can give it to you.
Oh, no, Roger's requesting this for the highway for doing water stuff, right?
Yes. There was a repair, okay, on March 9th and 10th on Goth Avenue. And then on Donahue, there was one on March 23rd and 24th.
Well, I've got a question. I see he wants to be reimbursed for all the money they do. I don't know how many years ago it was. It was either the water or the sewer. Bought that white dump truck, $70,000. They come out with water and sewer. Or the highway want to pay the water and sewer back? That would end our
There
problems.
was something that you couldn't borrow from highway or something like that.
That's what Roger said, once it's leaves, you can't come back.
Well, when I went to training way back in January 2024, that was, and I brought all these printouts back. It did say that once it's in highway, it's never go back.
That's what Roger says too, but that's where that money did come from.
And they come from the sewer and water. They paid for that white dump truck that they used.
And it was in the minutes that it was going to be paid back. That next
And I think
spring.
I think it was.
No.
They borrowed it in 23, and then they, at least partially it was paid back in 24, the water and sewer.
I don't know.
I doubted that, okay, but Danielle CC, they are still on and found it in the 2024 budget. And this is a legitimate practice, okay?
Yep.
Okay,
As long as it's legal,
it's legal.
and it came out of the highway, you should get the money back.
Yeah. To make this easier for Joe, we're not gonna do these, we'll just do the whole memo.
Okay,
Is that, you're comfortable with that?
Yep.
Motion and a second to approve this.
I thought we did.
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
Jim makes the motion, Cindy seconds it, all those in favor? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay. Public and board comments.
Before we get that, I got something for everybody here. May I approach the bench?
Of course.
Guilty.
It's something that the veterans want, okay? So that's a good thing, okay? You veterans don't cause me many problems, that's
Fourth of July.
okay?
For the closing of North River Road and South River Road. We need a vote and resolution for that, please.
Okay, so this is when, this is field day, okay? So certain roads have to be closed, okay? And we're authorizing that, okay? The South River Road, the road from Main Street to the adult center where all the activity is. So, does anybody have a problem with this?
We do it every year, don't we?
Yes.
It's the same thing we usually.
This is the standard, there's nothing
Yeah.
new here, this is standard operating procedure. A motion, Cindy makes the motion, Tim seconds it, all those in favor, it passes. A positive thing, Ralph?
I got a couple things. You want me to wait?
Go ahead.
Okay. The fire hydrant on the end of South River Road. It's been down since March 8th. If we get a fire at Sue Johnson's, that means we gotta drag an extra 500 to 1,000 foot hose. That needs to be addressed ASAP.
Yes.
We
Yes,
turned it
okay.
in on March 8th. And here it is, June.
House will be gone by the time we get
Okay, gotcha.
And did the board ever pay Roger the 10,000 for the plowing?
No.
because that would help you. That's right there.
I'm just looking at something.
No, we approved that.
Yeah, but
We
he did-
approved it, but he didn't take it.
He said, I don't want.
No,
Keep
no,
that.
no, okay, so
Yeah.
him and I made a deal, okay, when he did certain things, okay, for the town, okay, we rolled it out, okay. So between the highway department and the general budget, okay,
He got 10,000.
he got it, okay?
Oh, he did?
See, we were told, yeah, the way I understood it, he said he
Me
didn't
too.
want it.
No, he got it.
And what was it for?
To plow the town building here, okay?
So he got paid $10,000
The highway department got it?
when my husband plowed this whole parking lot for a month this winter? Seriously? What did he get out of it?
But he uses.
Unbelievable.
He uses a town vehicle, George, the town.
They don't have to-
Remember,
So you're saying-
remember all this come November.
Yep.
That's all I can explain. A lot of crazy stuff. Remember this.
And then he would pile
So
the
that
snow
went
in front of
into
our
the
garage
highway
doors,
fund, though, not
so we couldn't
just-
get our
it didn't go
fire
against-
trucks.
No, it didn't go to him.
What's that?
It didn't go to him.
No, it went to the highway.
Yeah, not
No,
a
because I
person,
would come
it
down and
went to the
plow with
highway.
him, and we'd be here for 2 or 3 hours plowing this parking lot. We almost got the rescue buried in the end of the parking lot here one night.
And the only other thing I had was,
Wow.
you mentioned earlier that you hired New Era to do the electrical. Was that ever put out for bid?
No, it was not, okay? I have authority if it's under $2,500,
Yeah, but you said it was thousands of dollars.
right,
So, I know municipalities, anything under 2,500, you can choose whoever you want.
right.
But if it's over $2,500, it has to go out to bid. And that's what I've been trying to get through to this board for years, especially with the sidewalk job that was, a debauchery where you
Right.
hired a guy for $8,000 and he wasn't even at the DOT spec. I'm just saying that in order to be fair with everything that comes into this town, you have to be fair to everyone. So if you have a project that's over $2,500, I know it costs more than $2,500 for the heating unit that you put in the bus garage.
Yeah, we had.
That went out to
But we
bid.
had bids, we had bids,
I know, that went out to bid.
Yeah.
So I know the sewer plant, if you're saying it was over it was thousands of dollars, that should technically have gone out to bid.
I thought it was, how much was, with Jared, wasn't it 2,200 or something? I thought I saw a bill, the bill in.
right, right.
I think it was.
There were separate bills, okay? One was 2,200, and then another problem was found, and then I think there was, another $1,200 bill, okay?
Yeah, so that technically should all went out to bid. Is all I'm saying. I mean, that's just makes it fair.
You got
for
it,
the
you got a
rest of us
valid, you got a valid point.
that are trying to compete.
Tammy?
I just have a question. I haven't been to a board meeting in years. Is water and sewer, is that employed by the same person?
Yes,
Okay, so did you say like we have a full-time and then one part-time and then a Tony or something? Have we hired more people for water and sewer?
all right, so this is how it works, okay? Jared Brockway is our main man. He's getting his licenses, all right, all in a duck, so he can be the boss, okay, of the plant, okay?
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer.
He's got his water license.
He's okay with water. He's gonna go to college this summer, okay, to finish off his license, okay? So that he can be the boss, per se, in sewer. So we had to hire Tony LaRue, a guy who's got all the credentials, so he could supervise Jared and anybody else who works there, okay? And Tony gave us this big break, okay, and when we pay him, okay, for sewer for the rest of the year, all right? But in order to have certified people running these plants, you gotta follow this chain of command, okay?
And Jared has more schooling and then a license to take, is that what you're
Yes.
saying? And then we have
And-
somebody else that fills in or something?
Right, now, because you can't force somebody to work 7 days a week, okay? So you gotta have a part-timer. So we have a part-timer that comes in for weekends, okay, all right? So he
Just per
can,
diem, if you need him or. for-
well, he works every weekend and he works the holiday, okay? Because there's a law saying you can't force somebody to work 8 straight days, okay? So there's really 3 people.
Once Jared gets his license, we won't have to have the one guy here, but you gotta have somebody with that license.
You gotta have 2 people with licenses in the town.
Yep.
Here in
Oh,
state.
2 people with licenses, so the part-timer has a license too?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
Jared has his water.
He's got
license.
civil service accreditation.
Jared has his water license, and he's got one of his licenses for sanitary sewer. He's just gonna take one more test, the second license. Is that correct?
like 1 semester of college, you mean, or 2 years?
No,
He's
he's gonna go for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
every day.
It's just straight, it's
This August, he's going to school, I think he's going to Buffalo State. And he's gonna go there Monday through Friday, and put in 2 weeks, and then he's got he passes those courses, and then he's,
So the person that's licensed, are they just part-time here or
yeah,
just part-time?
Tony's part-time. He comes down 3 days, he lives in Fort Cowden. He runs their water and sewer district, okay? And he comes down and he reviews what's going on in here. So it's not that he sits there and does nothing. He actually comes here. And if the guy's got a problem, then he's a consult. So a lot of times they consult on the phone or in person.
Thank you.
Yep.
I came originally just to really talk about one item, well, 2 items. A tree's being cut, which really disturbs me because I was protected from all that seed and everything else coming across the road. And I'd like to have the town put something back there to help me with that, okay? The worst problem though for me is when anybody says they sent me a letter in January to tell me that the water supply was going to be taken away from the company. I never received a letter. And this office has a valid address for me. I have a phone number that can be reached anytime anybody wants to get to me. I was never notified in any way but to come back on last week in the evening, okay, it's dark. I want a little bit of water to make my coffee for the morning. Guess where the water is? Nothing available there. Now, I've been in that property since 1965. Been there a long time. I've seen all the different water supplies that have come and gone, but there's always been some source of water. Whether it was approved, unapproved, healthy, not, those weren't the issues. There was a water source that was available. I'm smart enough not to drink it. Okay, so, but I need something to flush. I don't even have a flush toilet like a house would. I have a camp toilet that the water feed, and I push the tunnel in the bottom, and everything goes out. So, I mean, I've done everything I can to conserve. I use a maximum of 30 gallons in the first couple of weeks in order to get myself established of water. I probably don't use 10 gallons a week for washing dishes, cooking. That's it. Because I don't have a washing machine. I never filled a big tank and pumped the water out, yet I'm being penalized for somebody from Pig Farmer years ago who did that. Okay? So I don't understand why the town would want to solve whatever its problem is and create a new one. Because I cannot believe that as a landlord, you can have a dwelling without potable water.
You're not supposed to.
There you go.
Code.
And who owns the property?
We lease a property.
No, well, the landlord owns the property. I'm gonna just say it that way.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to make a fight out of it. I'm just trying to say to you, because I'm gonna check with the health department. There's gonna be a ticket and somebody's gonna be answering some questions. Because I believe that water needs to be available. I and other people over years have said, put the water there. We don't mind having the meter. The towns refuse to do it. You don't even investigate it. You got a water sewer system. You had plenty of money to buy a truck. With that money, you could put water all the way down through there and you've been collecting revenue.
That'd be millions of dollars to put water down that South River Road.
I'm not in South River Road, I'm right here. I'm 4 places from here.
North, he's on the north.
I'm 4 places from here. I'm not talking about sending it to, Santa Clara. But on the other hand, to me, what you did was you I've been lectured by Ernie, I know what the problem is over the years or whatever. I don't really care. What I care about is you wanted to solve one problem, you now have a different problem. And you took something away, this town gives no services anyway. You took away the dump system. You got a young man over here who said that he wants to know what the vision is. Well, you know what? Somebody needs to elect someone like him to help give a vision about what's going on. Because you know what? I'm one of these old white-haired guys too. And you know what? Our thinking is not necessarily the same as somebody else's. And we've got to infuse some blood to have some thinking. And not only that, but Ernie can't sit at the table and then every time something comes up, throw up every roadblock in the world. Well, we'll have to hire that, we'll have to hire this. Of course you do. But if you had a task force of people that know a little bit about some of these things, and then have a plan presented to the board instead of depending on, well, let's see, I think maybe if we would, and then Ernie says, well, we really can't because we'd have to this, we'd have to that. I think that's putting a lot of burden on individuals that probably shouldn't be the way it is. In your meetings, I'll tell you, you stop people from talking and then you let everybody talk anyway. I tried to shut my mouth and wait for this opportunity because I was getting like everybody else, talking when I shouldn't have been talking. And I know better. I've run meetings like this before, and there shouldn't be any talk until there's a motion on the table or comes from a report. The discussion is between the motion, after the motion and the second, and then the only next thing is a vote. Not all this talk. You talk problems to death, and I didn't hear too many solutions. I'll quit. I'm sorry.
Right.
A lot of times why they allowed the talking. Before, the board would like some input from the public on something that we're gonna vote on. And if we only wait till the end of the meeting, we ain't getting your input. We're gonna vote on how we feel.
Right. Well,
So,
and I can understand that, but that should be a process that comes about that everybody understands the same way. Because when somebody behind me says, we're never gonna get anything done if everybody can talk. Okay, so some people stop talking. Others never stop talking.
yeah.
And yet there wasn't really, I didn't feel like the liberty was there to say the same thing to everybody that, you know what, there's something pertinent to say here, maybe it should have been said.
Yeah, and I know the school board, you're not allowed to, and I was on that and on this board, and I hated it because we're voting on stuff and the public can't comment until they're done.
But you talk about money and you very seldom put any figures up. Okay, except here, there's plenty of money in contingency. So if there's plenty of money in contingency, how much of that is programmed, scheduled, surplus, because you need a certain amount of percentage of surplus every single year of budget, it should be there. So if there's more in the contingency than that, what kinds of projects can it be used on? There are also rules about what money can be transferred from this line item to that line item, and which ones can't be transferred out of. And you should be discussing that. You did at one point about the highway department. Okay? But not everybody's familiar with municipal law. I'm not. School law over there, but not municipal law. So you can help educate the public that way too, because I think the word around town is cutting the youth program, cutting the campground. I mean, and they're nasty words that are being used in general, and I hear them every day. I mean, I've been here a week, all right? And I'm right in the middle of all of it. And I've been very quiet in this town for those 70 years, 65 years, whatever it is.
Just a couple solutions, maybe helpful. So as Ernie knows, when you hire your lifeguards, workers' comp, local law requires they get a physical. So the county workers' comp reimburses, I think it's up to $75 for those physicals if you get them. So I hope you submit those invoices once you have those and like we wish you. The Waverly Youth Council used to at one point pay or reimburse for the CPR classes for the lifeguards. So if you said the town is paying for those, we could talk about the possibility of the youth council picking that up again. I don't know when that stopped.
Yeah. We did that, they went to training in March.
Can't Wilbur do the CPR course here? Have you ever checked in with him?
Patty and Patty Goodrow.
Yeah, and Wilbur can too, he's certified.
Yeah, I would see.
And then my last comment
Those are good
was,
thoughts. But we're done for this year, okay, but
yeah,
next year.
I'm just, I'd like to see the youth council support that process. And then, again, I just want to mention the Catholic Charities Social Services, it's called the Summer Youth Employment Program. It doesn't cost Town of Waverly taxpayers to hire youth to come in. And, you know, I know you're not cutting the youth program. I don't know when it changed from Catholic Charities to taxpayer money, but it's something to consider. Please. As a taxpayer.
I'm gonna be calling
why are you
Catholic
paying?
Charities and see what they do.
Not really made an issue.
I'd like to thank Ralph Linnell for setting up chairs and everything in here, so people have a place to sit. Well, Ernie tried, but he couldn't find them.
I couldn't find them.
Ernie couldn't find them, so he
That's why I
tried.
moved the couch, I moved the couch over.
They're way in the back, we have tucked behind the fire trucks.
Yeah, I looked back there and I couldn't find them.
Buried.
Thank you.
No, we'll put them away tomorrow. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll put
Don't
them
put them
away
away tomorrow. There's somebody here all day long.
So we want.
I'll make a motion.
For executive session.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
A second on executive session. No.
Cindy, second.
I
Pardon?
didn't know you got the executive session.
I got Billy and I just saw
Yeah,
Cindy.
we're all voting yes to go to
Okay.
executive session.
All in favor. And this is at 8:49.
Bye.
You're keeping everything from the chairman under
Did you
control.
guys
Trying
vote?
to, I'll keep the other end.
Yeah, I've got a messenger because.
I got my dog chasing geese.
We talked about
Oh, you
I got that little
We
rope
did.
shot.
They actually messaged me that night and said how
Get 'em
rude I
and
was
chase
for
'em right
posting
down.
something on Facebook about it. They thought they were all free. I'm like, was there a free sign on them?
I was on a
Oh,
live stream.
The one that stole.
they stole from our pallets from over there.
Oh, yeah, the stuff you had for your field day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They took 3/4 of my file.
The orange.
Marked it all in one night.
How far from you?
Yeah, I heard it, but it's the same one, the guy right back there.
The dog, who was it, the dog control officer, that Gilbert guy? Yeah. He witnessed it because he messaged me